Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the lab. This is their part number L189V1 is what it is. This is a bottom pin used in typical Corbin Russwin work. This is a vial of what this is. They package their pins in different availabilities, different options. The vial is a very common option. They also have, I think, what they call their Smart Pack, maybe. Just, you know, vacuum packaged pins. The vials are nice because you can stand them up and you can read what's printed on that rather than rifling through a box of Smart Packs. However you like it, vials are pretty typical. Now, this is a 189 for Corbin Russwin. I'm going to take one out. We're not going to see very much because, of course, how small it is. But there are a couple of images down below that I'll show you. And if you're familiar with Corbin Russwin, you'll note, if you have an original Corbin Russwin kit, you'll note that that type of bullnose or blunted edge that they have here is absolutely Corbin Russwin, but also the crowning of the top of the pin is very much telltale Corbin Russwin as well. This is a 189, which means it ought to measure 189 thousandths in length. My caliper tells me it is 190. Who knows what the caliper said? No. Yeah, when I get that really seated, it's like 189.5. That's pretty accurate. The diameter of the pin, I don't recall what these are, but Corbin Russwin 0.115. It looks like 116 diameter. So not doing you much service by showing you something you can't possibly see. But let's provide some value in this video at least. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here's the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look at those photos I mentioned. That's the printing on the top of the vial. That's what it looks like itself. It's pixelated, but it does give you a better idea of what that blunted nose looks like. Let's skip back. That's the crowning on the top of the pin. A very wide bevel there. Okay. Then a profile view. Again, better than nothing, I hope. So there is a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. And from here, you can open up, well, before we get there, you can look at all of the lab items that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation. But also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, as we scroll through this catalog, you're going to encounter, if you know the name Lab at all, their pins, pin kits, and locksmithing accessories and tools. And here are their different packaging types. The Smart Pack I had mentioned, the vial, and then the poly bag. We get these anyway. You know, we bring these in however the client likes. They're not available in every option. The poly bag may not be available in every pin type. But if you routinely have dozens of different sizes of pins on hand, you might want to be able to look quickly. The vial works for me. These can be pretty unruly. If they end up in a box with 75 other poly bags, you're rifling through something. So the name Lab is synonymous for their green emerald wedge kit, either an 003 or an 005 system. Universal type pin that's going to work for your Dexters, your Schlegs, your Quicksets, you know, Falcon, Arrow, you name it. This universal pin is going to work pretty well. The difference between the 3000 and the 5000 is obviously the increment. But you can see how the chamfering changes on the top of the pin, the crowning changes. I do not prefer a 5,000ths pin increment kit. 3,000ths, in my opinion, is the only way to go if you're going to have a generic kit, which I think Certainly every locksmith does. Refill packs. Now we're going to get into springs, and I'll just quickly scroll through here because I'll leave that up to you to discover other locksmithing pieces. And then we get into the original manufacturer's pins. So, small format pins here. Schlage original style pins. Arrow. Master padlock. Here's your Corbin Russwin. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. So the L189 is obviously a reference to the size. They can do L160 through L354. And then you indicate at the end your packaging. And apparently they only offer this in the vial packaging. And that's proven by the fact that you can order the Wiser pins in vials, smart packs, or poly bags. So you can order bottom pins here, and then if you need top pins, you'll prefix that with the M. So very handy. 115 thousandths diameter, as we had indicated earlier. All the other manufacturers' pins are listed in here that Lab makes. Yale, Sargent, Dexter, Baldwin, on and on. Spool pins, serrated pins. They do offer an increase in shimming and picking resistance, an increase in security, not substantial, but to the casual picker it might. Then it gets into the different kits that they have, and they will supply you with a Corbin Russwin Lab kit. This is the Emerald Wedge Pro that I had mentioned. Probably the most common pin kit in the world. The EPK 003, I've owned lots of these in the green version. Which, yeah, forgive me, it's the I forget which the part number is. I've ordered them both. Okay, Classic Pro solid metal construction. Generic kits, however. Now, these are color-coded pins, which you may or may not want. It's awfully handy putting pins back when you're not sure where you pull it out of. In terms of Corbin Russwin material, let's continue to scroll through, and here it is. This is going to be a wedge full of just Corbin Russwin parts. Now, Lab is not going to have every possible pin I believe that you're going to need if you're doing some unusual or uncommon master ring. I don't think they're going to have the build-up, every possible build-up pin or in every increment. Don't quote me. I've studied that in the past. I know that every pin is not included there, so you might want to, based on your application, consider purchasing the manufacturer's original equipment, not the Lab version, only because it may not have what you want or need, but that would be relatively uncommon. So as we continue to scroll through, just more pin kits, as you can see. We're going to get into locksmithing tools, picks, rakes, plug followers, threaded cap removal tools, tension rods, lubricant, tweezers, ejector blocks, pins, pin decoder for medical. I've never used this, but I've been told by others that it works very well. Key gauges, pinning layup tray, pickle fork, that's what this is called. If you're doing any quickset cylinder work, knob work, you'll need a pickle fork. Rubber layout tray. I don't use one, but I'm a fool for not doing so. I lose a lot of pins as a result. So, great catalog to go through. Now, let's switch to some other information, because we're looking at Corbin Russwin, that you actually might find valuable as well. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. That additional helpful information is seen in our website. If you go to the home page and find the word manufacturers, there's a link somewhere. By the time you're seeing this video, this page may have changed, but click manufacturers, and then when that page loads, do a find function on your keyboard for Corbin, and you'll get to Corbin Russwin. Open up that manufacturer's page. You're looking for a link that's called Cylinder Manual. It's right here. This is among the most comprehensive of documents. It's likely the most manufacturer-specific comprehensive document as it pertains to well over 100 years of history of Corbin, P.F. Corbin, Russell and Irwin, Corbin Russwin. And what's handy, very handy about this is that it's 100-plus pages of everything encyclopedic on the Corbin and Russwin keying systems as it goes back over the several decades. This document is irreplaceable. You will find in here lots of information regarding not only their key systems, their depth and spacing data, their encyclopedic historical documentation when it comes to the history of their key classes. Why is there an X keyway and a Z keyway? And well, you can look all that up. What's H? What's D? Very fascinating. They will get into Unit 4, pin kits, pins. You'll be able to find lots of information about Corbin Russwin pin kits. I have the PK1070 is the one that I have. It contains everything that you would need because I've done master ring in the past. The point is that this will give you a leg up in terms of understanding what is available from the manufacturer. Okay, this is an L189, so I don't really know what that is without looking at a depth and spacing data, but let's do that. Let's assume that we are pinning we just didn't go far enough. This is a 189, so I don't know what class this comes out of, what key system. Here's a 189. So it's a number 2 bottom pin in the Russwin DH class pre-System 70. And the DH class is obviously pretty, not obviously I suppose, but it is very common. Pre-System 70 means that it is a two-step system that existed prior to the conversion to System 70, which occurred, I'll give you one guess, in the year 1970 is when they went from a two-step system to a single-step system. So a System 70 DH class. See if we can find DH class System 70. Let's see. I think I've gone way too far into it. The point is that we're not going to find a 180. There it is. So it's Corbin Z and DH class System 70. I don't think you'll find a 180. Oh, you do. It's still a number 2 bottom pin in a System 70, which means it's a single-step system. If you note, there are 6 depths, root depths that are here in the System 70. When we go to DH class pre-System 70, here, there are 11 steps, actually. And that 189 is a number 2. That would be coincidental only. Actually, no, it wouldn't be coincidental because it's a 15,000ths of an inch increment in the two-step system. It cannot be 15,000ths increment in the System 70. It's 28,000ths increment. So the science behind this I can't comment on, but it's apparently somewhat coincidental. A number 2 stays at a 189. So the point of all of this was to show you where you'll find a very deep dive when it comes to Corbin Russwin. And it is indeed in the manufacturer's page, Corbin Russwin, and then that cylinder manual. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. And while you didn't get to see much of these pins at all, we did show you where you'll find a lot of additional information. And at the end of the day, if you're doing Corbin Russwin and you need a number 2 bottom pin, or a 189 anyway, here it is. Any questions on the lab, L189V1, or any other lab product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.